Hey everybody, this is Darren Spader again with the Bay Area News Group, here with Evan Wiebeck and Mike Lefkow for the second week of the high school prediction show, and we are going to go live here in just a second. Give us real quick here. Give us 2 seconds here. Well, actually a little more than two, but anyhow. Guys, you ready?
Do it.
All right.
So,
It's week two. Well, week one did not go quite as planned, right, Evan?
Not quite, either in our predictions or in simply getting games in, right? The smoke had a little bit of an outcome, huh?
Oh man, I woke up on Friday morning. I was excited. It was going to be week one, all these great matchups, and get in the car to start to drive to Stockton, and I'm going, what is going on here? I knew it wasn't overcast from clouds. And then my phone started blowing up, and I think the first one to go down was Antioch Monte Vista. And then I think I called you to ask about Pitt, Sarah, and it was all downhill.
Very shortly afterward.
It was all downhill from there. Meanwhile, I got to have lunch with Mike Lefkow in Lathrop.
yes, we did.
Evan, when I was sitting there in Lathrop at that In-N-Out Burger, I mean, I kept thinking about 5 years of this. I mean, some of the years weren't as bad as others, but how much longer can we go on with these smokeouts with high school football? I mean, we now have a wildfire season, and it aligns perfectly with the high school football season.
Yeah, well, I was talking with Central Coast Commissioner Dave Grissom today, and he said he was talking with CIF Commissioner or Executive Director Ron Nichetti last week, and Nichetti mentioned, we haven't had a normal season since 2017, and you could even argue it goes back even further to 2016. And teams are pushing for change. It doesn't seem like it's a sustainable status quo. Vic Galley, the coach at Pittsburgh, who arguably was maybe one of the most affected teams this season, losing that top game at Sarah, and over the last 5 years, with Pittsburgh constantly being a victim of wildfire smoke. He wants to see the season move back. Whether that's a realistic option is to be determined. But he's one of a number of coaches who's asking for change because of the wildfire smoke.
Well, when Vic and I talked on Friday afternoon from that In-N-Out parking lot in Lathrop, I mentioned that I'm about ready to write a column, here coming soon, about the wildfires, and that the season has to be moved. I mean, it's just, we can't keep going through this year after year. And he goes, I was thinking the exact same thing this morning when he started smelling smoke. He's been affected a number of times because of the wildfires.
In the CCS, coaches met yesterday to talk about the possibility of changing to an 8 or 9 game season because of wildfire smoke.
Right. Anyhow, I mean, we've already got news for week 2, it looks like, right, Evan? I mean, your game, I guess wherever we put you, we can just count on that game at least not happening that day.
It goes with my history. I'm typically a bad luck charm. So, yeah, we will no longer see Pittsburgh at Folsom on Friday night. That game's been moved to Saturday. Folsom had their game last week moved from Friday to Monday, so they were going to be playing on short rest. Whether that played a factor in moving the game back, we're not sure. Whether there's an AQI and air quality issue out there in Folsom, they say that they are going to be keeping an eye on it, but that game's going to be played out there over the weekend. If they can't do it at Folsom, it'll be at a neighboring district, according to Vic Galley. It won't be coming to Pittsburgh.
When I spoke to Tim Murphy last night after their win, or Clayton Valley Charter's win over Turlock, I pointed out, hey, you're going to Del Oro on Friday. He goes, well, we'll see. Because of the smoke, there's concern that Del Oro might not be able to practice, and if they aren't able to practice, they won't be able to play. So, Murphy's, already thinking, if this game doesn't happen, they might be scrambling like some of the other coaches did over the weekend. But Mike Lefkow, what were your takeaways from week 1?
Well, I was very impressed with Bellarmine. Probably the most impressive thing in terms of the situation with the smoke and all the cancellations. I was supposed to cover St. Francis at Central Catholic, and I was looking forward to seeing that St. Francis team, especially after I saw them walk into the stadium. They do pass the eye test, and it'll be interesting to see how they do. I think they could be a very, very good team if they play up to their capabilities. So I was disappointed not to see that game, and I was disappointed with all the other cancellations and changes. And you talk about the schedule, I think it has to be moved back. My solution would be to move it back to the first Friday after Labor Day and cut the playoffs way back. Teams don't need to play 6 postseason games for a 10-game regular season.
Right.
It's not going to be as much revenue, but that's the way it goes.
My takeaway from week one, I was out at De La Salle on Saturday after that game was moved from Friday night in Stockton to Saturday morning in Stockton to Saturday early evening in Concord at De La Salle. It was 100 degrees at kickoff, 143 AQI, which was passable. De La Salle, as I pointed out in our game story, kind of wobbled in the first half, and then in the second half looked like De La Salle in peak form. Great defense, physical, efficient on offense, outscored St. Mary's 35-0 in the second half and won that game convincingly, 52-16. So that was my takeaway. Let's get to our picks. We got 15 games to pick. We picked 14 last week, and only 9 were played. And looking at our standings, we didn't do so well. Evan, you and I are in first place with 4 and 5 records.
500, under 500.
Under 500. And Mike, you're the two-time defending champion, coming in at 3 and 6 on week one.
Oh, plenty of time to catch up.
There you go. Let's get right to the picks. Starting off game number 1, Saturday afternoon at noon. Sacred Heart Prep traveling to up north to San Francisco to play St. Ignatius. These teams have met twice since 2018, and SI is 0-2 against the Gators. Evan, who you got?
I think they get their first win. I saw St. Ignatius beat Pally 28-7 this last weekend and came away pretty impressed. Sacred Heart Prep needed to come down to the wire against Sacred Heart Cathedral. I like St. Ignatius.
Lefty?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the SI bandwagon. I think they're a little better team this year, and I'm picking them to win.
Well, we know Sacred Heart Prep's going to win now because I'm also taking SI. So it's a clean sweep for SI. Game 2 on our list, Capital Christian Sacramento 1-0, traveling to Valley Christian also 1-0, and Valley kind of proved a point last week to us. We all picked Wilcox, and Valley was very impressive on the road in Santa Clara, coming away with a win. Jurian Dickey and Jackson Berman both had terrific games. I'm going Valley at home in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Valley at home. I don't know that Capital Christian is that good a team this year.
Mike Machado said we gave him bulletin board material last week, but we're not doing the same this week. Valley Christian.
We're all picking the same. Clayton Valley Charter, they won last night. If this game happens, it's probably 50-50, but they're going to be on the road on Friday in Loomis against Del Oro, which is 2-0. My mind is saying Del Oro, but I don't know. I think Tim Murphy in his last season as Clayton Valley's coach, I think they're going to come away with the win to go to 2-0.
Yeah, go ahead.
Clayton Valley is going to be coming off a short rest after their game got pushed back to Monday too, and they've been traveling a lot this season. They're hitting the road again. But I'm going to take Clayton Valley.
Lefty?
Yeah, and again, I'm also going with the majority, Clayton Valley.
My goodness.
Not going to be any shakeup in the standings after this week.
I know. Menlo at TKA. Menlo 1-0. TKA 0-1. The Kings Academy lost to Mountain View 31-0, and Menlo pounded Sequoia 63-6. Sergio Beltran for Menlo, 15 of 21 for 351 yards and 7 touchdown passes. Not bad.
And all 7 coming in the first half too. Maybe an oversight for boys athlete of the week poll this week.
Yeah, we will get Mr. Beltran in at some point. Maybe he needs to go.
He'll make another appearance.
Our bar for him is pretty high. Maybe he has to throw 8 touchdown passes to make that list. Anyhow, I'm taking Menlo to win that game.
Give me Menlo.
Yep.
Oh, same thing, but I think
Good.
it's going to be a close game. I don't think Menlo's going to pound them, but I think Menlo wins.
All right, Aptos 1-0 at Campo Lindo 1-0. Campo coming off that win over Moreau Catholic. Aptos beat Mills 49-0. We're probably all going to pick Campo. I'm taking Campo.
Yeah, again, I hate picking against Campo Lindo, especially
Yeah,
at home.
we're not sharing our picks beforehand.
We are not sharing our picks. I've got mine circled right here. Here are my picks. Wilcox to San Benito. I'll let you guys go first.
All right, well, I'll start off, and I'm gonna take Wilcox. I think they're gonna be fired up after last week, and they're gonna want to prove a point.
Yeah, Wilcox.
Wilcox. Jeez, guys. Okay, this one we might have a little bit of a different picks here. Mountain View coming off that win over Kings at Midi Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and Midi was beaten by Palma 47-0 in its opener. Lefty.
I'm gonna go with Midi. I think that Palma is a pretty good team. I read a couple things this week about Palma, and I think Midi will play a little bit better. I mean, this is a huge game for Midi. If they lose this one, I think this is not going to be a great season for Midi.
Yeah, this is a toss-up for me. Yeah, I'll take Midi.
I'm going Mountain View. Went against Mountain View last week. I saw Mountain View in the scrimmage. And to beat Pete Laverado's team 31-0, that speaks volumes. I do think it's going to be close. It was a tough pick. Bishop O'Dowd at San Ramon Valley. This is one of our spotlight games of the week. Evan, what are you most looking forward to in this matchup?
Yeah, this was a good game last year. They faced off, and San Ramon Valley came away with a 21-13 win. Zadaria Nardi was a huge factor in that game, and we should expect more of the same. But both these teams, they have great offenses and great defenses. O'Dowd's got great playmakers and Matt White and Keon Loud and Daniel Harper on offense, breaking in a new quarterback. So we'll see how that goes. But David Perry's high on Michael Dixon's ability to understand that really complex playbook that he has implemented over there at O'Dowd to much success last season.
Right.
That was their only loss last year, was that 8-point loss to San Ramon Valley at the start of the year.
Both of these teams were smoked out last week. Lefty, I mean, you're big in the recruiting scene. What does it mean for Jackson Brown, the lineman from San Ramon Valley, to pick Cal as his destination after high school?
Well, I think it's great for Cal. I mean, Cal's got to show they can get the kids in this area, and they go ahead and get them. I mean, he had a number of pretty good offers. His dad played at the University of Pittsburgh. University of Pittsburgh. So he was a legacy there. Of course, that's 3,000 miles from where he lives, but still, I think it's a good sign for Cal that they were able to keep him home.
Yep. I'm taking San Ramon Valley in this game. Who you got, Lefty?
I'm going to stick with what you're going. I think Bishop O'Dowd's a good young team, but I like this San Ramon Valley team.
I think both these teams have gotten better from last year, but I think San Ramon Valley's gotten even better. So yeah, San Ramon Valley.
Okay. Antioch at Cal High. Antioch was supposed to open up last week against Monte Vista. That game was the first of a number of games that was canceled. Actually, their game was canceled. Other games were postponed and rescheduled, but that one they couldn't. I guess they couldn't work it out. So Antioch is 0-0, playing against Cal High, which routed James Logan. I picked Cal High to win that game, but I did not expect that score. I think it was 40. What was it?
49-7.
49-7.
Yeah.
I'm taking Cal High to win this one at home. Teddy Boris and company are gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Grizzlies in this one.
You're going Cal High
I'm
too?
going Cal High Grizzlies. Yep.
One of the most impressive performances of week one, moved up 6 spots in the rankings. Cal's our pick.
All right. Hayward at Monte Vista. Hayward 0-1 against Monte Vista. As we just noted, was canceled against Antioch. So CJ Anderson making his coaching debut a week later than scheduled. They're at home. I'm taking Monte Vista. It's Friday night, 7:00. Lefty.
I'm gonna go with Monte Vista in what I think will be a close game.
Yeah, I picked against CJ in his coaching debut or scheduled coaching debut last week, but I'm picking him this week over Hayward. I think there's a lot of talent on that Monte Vista team.
Okay. San Leandro, big win at Cardinal Newman. Traveling to Freedom, which got a nice win over Hayward. Friday, 7:00. I'm taking Brad Bowers of San Leandro Pirates to go to 2-0 to set up the big game in week 3 at home against Bellarmine.
Yeah, as one coach told me this week, you better be prepared when you're playing a Brad Bowers team. They may not have the best personnel, but they're going to be well coached, and I think San Leandro is going to pull it off.
Yep, give me San Leandro.
Dang. Guys, we need to we need to shake it up a little bit.
4 games left.
We have 4 games left. Los Gatos Liberty. Evan, you talked to Mark Crail on Saturday. Tell me about his day or his previous 24 hours after that.
24, 36 hours, however long that roller coaster ride was. It was pretty crazy. It started with their game getting called down at Oak Grove and them end up huddling together and scouring for a game and an opponent and finally landing on Monterey Trail. Monterey Trail making the 2 to 3 hour trek all the way down to the Santa Cruz area. Play at a neutral site where they know they're going to have clear air. And Los Gatos impressed. They came away with a 42-20 win. They were down on the goal line with a little bit of time left on the clock and would have made it 49-22. They loved what they saw from their defense, shutting down that rushing attack from Monterey Trail, and that definitely bears out well for the rest of the
I like what you showed of their. You sent that clip of their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some moves.
That's Jake Boyd. Yeah.
Yeah. He avoided 3 defenders who all ended up on the ground.
Made him look silly.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going Los Gatos in this game to win on the road. It's a long trip for them. I mean, going from Los Gatos to Brentwood, that's a couple of hours on Friday. But I'm still going to go with Los Gatos. Lefty.
Well, I'll go with Liberty. I mean, I think I tend to like Los Gatos' personnel a little bit better, but I think Liberty at home is going to be tough, and they've got some serious talent.
I'll be out there in Brentwood Friday night covering for mercurynews.com, and I will take Los Gatos.
You're taking Los Gatos. Okay. 3 more games on our list. Tualatin from Oregon, the Portland area, 12 miles outside of Portland. They're going to travel 650 miles to play Menlo Atherton, which I'm guessing will be pretty fired up after what happened last week in their loss to Bellarmine. They gave up 56 points in that game. I think they'll tighten things up here in week 2. I'm taking MA to beat this team from Oregon, which it will be Tualatin's season opener. They're 0-0 right now. Evan, who you got?
Yeah, we loved MA going into the season. We had him ranked number 5, but I'm taking Tualatin. They're number 4 team in Oregon, according to Cal Preps.
There you go. Lefty?
I'm going to take MA. I think Menlo Atherton is going to show a little bit this week what they didn't show last week.
2 more games on our list. Lefty, I'm gonna give you the floor here because San Jose and Lincoln are gonna play on Friday night at Lincoln. This is a game that's been played for decades on Thanksgiving morning at 11 a.m. This year they are moving it to Labor Day weekend. And Lincoln has, I didn't look to see, but I'm pretty sure the streak is 22, 23 games now. over San Jose. They're going to be at home. I'm taking Lincoln in this game, but what do you think about the big bone game being played on Labor Day weekend?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I think it's great for the players because now they can go to the Central Coast playoffs if they have a good enough team. I mean, how many times in the last few years did Lincoln have a team that was 6-4, 7-3, maybe 8-2, and they had to stay home, or they had to play the big bone game on Thanksgiving Day, and everybody said all the right things. The players were looking forward to it. It was good for charity. They had the dance, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, you can donate to charity just as easily in September as you can in November. And you can have a school dance just as easily in September as you can in November. But the players cannot go to the playoffs in September. So that's good. I'm glad they did it. This was something that really irritated me, that big bone game. And I'm very glad that the two schools finally came to their senses.
Evan, you're new to the area. I'm sure you don't have many thoughts on this.
My thought is, what does the big bone game mean? What is the origin?
Years ago, long before you were born, there were traditional Thanksgiving Day games by a number of schools throughout the area, right, Lefty?
Oh yeah, I mean, when
the
I
area?
played football, the championship team played a game on Thanksgiving against the champion from another league.
It was a big deal. And now this one here, the last one, is no more, at least not this year. So anyhow, I'm taking Lincoln. Who you got, Lefty?
I'm going to go with Lincoln.
Evan?
Lincoln.
All right. Lincoln will go to 1-1 and San Jose will drop to 0-2. Last game on the list. This will end the show. We thought you were going to be there, Evan, Friday night at 7 o'clock in Folsom to see the blue turf, but you're not going to be there now. The game is now Saturday, 6 o'clock, maybe at Folsom, maybe somewhere else. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But Pittsburgh will be 0-0 when it steps on the field, and Folsom will be 2-0 with 56 points scored in both of their games. Beat Jesuit 56-7. Beat Monterey Trail 56-14. Evan, who you got?
Look, Folsom's the team that I've had circled on De La Salle scheduled all along as ending that NorCal streak. I think they're winning this Pitt game too.
Lefty.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Folsom. I think it's going to be a nail biter or a close game. But Folsom, the Monterey Trail game probably wasn't as impressive as it looked, but Folsom's got a good football team.
Last week, I picked Sarah to beat Pittsburgh. This week, I'm picking Pittsburgh to stun Folsom. Jaden Rashada is going to get it done. Vic Galley is going to have all smiles on his way home, wherever he's driving home from. And I'm taking Pittsburgh to shock Northern California and beat Folsom on whatever turf they play. Maybe blue, maybe green, maybe whoever, what color. Well, maybe red. I don't know what colors they got out there. But anyhow, I'm taking the Pirates to pull off the upset and get the win. That was 15 games we just picked. I think there are a few that we went separate ways, but maybe next time we'll pick games where they're more closer to 50-50, I guess, because we all seem to be thinking alike.
I mean, blame the schedulers.
Well, actually, a friend of mine who follows it, he went to San Ramon Valley. He commented to me this week. He said, man, most of these games are so one-sided so far. So other people have noticed it too.
Well, I hope we get these games in. I hope we don't have more smoke this week. I hope that the teams can avoid the COVID issues that affected a few teams last week. And I hope that the games that we end up choosing to cover actually happen, right?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, that fire up in Lake Tahoe is a bit of a problem, but let's keep our fingers crossed that Lake Tahoe they can finally get that fire out before it does too much damage up there.
Yeah.
Some of the things to look forward to on mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com this week. The rankings are already out. They posted this morning. Tomorrow, I will post these predictions for those of you who did not see this YouTube video. Thursday, we have a story on Bellarmine, retro story. Bellarmine 10 years ago, Thursday, almost beat De La Salle. So we tell about that story. Evan, you got a few stories that you're working on, and then we're on to the weekend and hopefully a full slate of games for week 2. Anyhow, check us out, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Be sure to subscribe. That keeps us going. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up?
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
All right, Lefty.
Let's hope the smoke clears and we have a full slate of games on Friday and Saturday.
Very good.